So chapter 14, Shlokas 19. Nanyam Gunbaya Kartaram Yada Drasta Upashayate Gunbayas Cha Param Veti Madbhavam So Digachate. When you see that there is nothing beyond these modes of nature in all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all these modes, then you can know my spiritual nature. One can transcend all the activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly, by learning from proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is those who are fully Krishna consciousness that one has to learn the science of activities in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature. He is helpless, being in the grip of these modes, but he can see his real position. Then he can attain the transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. Therefore, one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. Text 20. Gunan etan atitya trin dehe deha samud bhavan janma mrityu jara sukhar vinmuktu mritam asnut. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. How can one stay in the transcendental position, even in this body, in full Krishna consciousness, is explained in this verse. The Sanskrit word dehe means embodied. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life, even in this body, because after leaving this body, he is certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation from this material entanglement, and this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of the modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. Text 21. Arjuna Yuvaka Kar Linga Strin Gunan Etan Atito Bhavati Prabhu Kim Achara Katham Katyams Trin Gunan At Vartate. Arjuna inquired, "Oh, my dear Lord, by what symptoms is one known who is transcendental to those modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the modes of nature?" In this verse, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the modes of the material modes. He first inquires of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. How can one understand that he has already transcended the influence of the modes of material nature? The second question asks how he lives and what his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? Then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. That is very important. Unless one knows the direct means by which one can be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important, and the Lord answers them. Text 22 to 25. Shri Bhagavan Yuvaka Prakasam Cha Pravitim Cha Moham Eva Cha Pandava Ne Devaste Sampravatani Na Nurtani Kansakte Udasina Vad Asino Guner Yo Na Vikalayate Guna Vartanta Iti Avam Yo Vatisati Nengate Sama Duka Suka Sva Stata Sama Lostama Kana Tulia Priya Priyo Diras Tulia Nindatma Sam Stute Mana Pana Ayos Tulo Mitrari Paksayo Sarva Amha Pariyagi Gunatita Sa Uchate. The Blessed Lord said, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, nor longs for them when they disappear, who is seated like one unconcerned being situated beyond these material reactions of the modes of nature, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active, who regards alike pleasure and pain and looks on a clod, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is wise and holds praise and blame to be the same, who is unchanged in honor and dishonor, who treats friend and foe alike, who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings. Such a man is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Arjuna submitted 3 different questions, and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna indicates that a person transcendently situated neither envies anyone nor hankers for anything. When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. But as long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. One does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. How does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendently situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. The next question concerns the dealings of a transcendently situated person. The materially situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body. But the transcendently situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or gold. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in his execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with material existence. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. He does not attempt anything for his own sake. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attain anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendently situated. Text 26. Mam cha yo Vabhi Karina, Bhakti Yogina Savate, Sa Gunan Samatyatan, Brahma Uyaya Kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. This verse is a reply to Arjuna's third question. What is the means of attaining to the transcendental position? As explained before, the material world is acting under the spell of the modes of material nature. One should not be disturbed by the activities of the modes of nature. Instead of putting his consciousness into such activities, he may transfer his consciousness to Krishna activities. Krishna activities are known as Bhakti Yoga, always acting for Krishna. This includes not only Krishna, but his different plenary expansions, such as Rama and Narayana. He has innumerable expansions. One who is engaged in the service of any of the forms of Krishna or his plenary expansions is considered to be transcendently situated. One should also note that all the forms of Krishna are fully transcendental, blissful, full of knowledge, and eternal. Such personalities of Godhead are omnipotent and omniscient, and they possess all transcendental qualities. So, if one engages himself in the service of Krishna or his plenary expansions with unfailing determination, although these modes of material nature are very difficult to overcome, he can overcome them easily. This is already explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto Krishna at once surmounts the influence of the modes of material nature. To be in Krishna consciousness or in devotional service means to acquire the equality of Krishna. The Lord says that his nature is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, and the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme, as gold particles are part of a gold mine. Thus, the living entity's spiritual position is as good as gold, as good as Krishna in quality. The difference of individuality continues. Otherwise, there is no question of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means that the Lord is there, the devotee is there, and that the activity of exchange of love between the Lord and the devotee is there. Therefore, the individuality of two persons is present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the individual person. Otherwise, there is no meaning to Bhakti Yoga. If one is not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, one cannot serve the Supreme Lord. To be a personal assistant to a king, one must acquire the qualifications. Thus, the qualification is to become Brahmin or freed from all material contamination. It is said in the Vedic literature, Brahmaiva san Brahmayeti. One can attain the Supreme Brahmin by becoming Brahmin. This means that one must qualitatively become one with Brahman. By attainment of Brahman, one does not lose his eternal Brahman identity as individual soul. I'll save this one for tomorrow. Does anyone have anything? If not, I can read that last sloka for the day. For the chapter.
No, that's good. I'm forgetting what Brahman is.
Is Amanda there? Let me
Hold on, I'm Googling it. Okay, now I remember.
What does it say?
The highest class, the highest priest.
Okay. Yeah. I thought at one point when I was reading, it said like, if just do it for Krishna. And I'm like, all right, so next time I want to indulge in something, I'm just going to tell people I'm doing it for Krishna. Like it says, don't do anything for yourself, just do it for Krishna. And I'm like, okay.
Pam, you're hysterical. You know what I'm doing? I'm standing here with my mouth open wide, chin to the floor, because I think 2 days ago, I grabbed the Gita as is, and I opened a random page, and guess what I read?
Exactly what I just read.
26. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Or what do I really need to focus on? Or what do I have to prepare for? What's coming?
Wait, what did you just read? What we just read?
Yeah, the two, and I haven't been able to get on in months.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Well, I'm having a hard time with, I think I'm having an extra hard time because I don't like to be in New York. I don't like anything about New York City. I don't like anything about really Long Island. And this has been going on my whole entire life. I've practiced gratitude over the years that I am here and that I do have a good partner and that I had a fantastic puppy. But now that Kramer's not here and I'm not like tied to my job and physical location, like this week, I'm like having a hard time because I've never been happy here.
Pam, I can relate. I've never called. This place became home, sort of a little, once I got Rev into my life.
Yeah, like I'm grateful that I have Rev. Like Rev is the only place I really go right now. Like even last night I was like, I'm going to yoga yesterday afternoon.
I have so much, like I keep trying to be grateful for, because around here there's so much beauty that we can drive to. We can go to the, like last year, people that were stuck in apartments, we could drive. I was driving to the beach and it's not far, and there's all this stuff, like there is nice stuff, but I know I'm not, and I tried so many times to leave here and it just and it didn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard I try, it just falls through and it doesn't happen, and it frustrates me. And now this week I literally, the words I used were, I'm going to put my heart in a box for a moment so I can really think this through. And I decided we're not going home, because who wants to quarantine with 2 kids in 90 degrees?
Yeah.
Not even being able to step outside. Like I can't even go outside on the front of the house. And I can't quarantine with my parents because then they have to quarantine. And it's like, I totally hear, like, if Pierre was willing to figure out a way to transfer jobs or whatever, I'd still be out of here.
Well, now I'm like, after reading this, like, and I know like the grass is always greener on the other side. So like, yeah, I have this like envision that I'll be happy somewhere else. But I think now, like after reading about these modes of nature, like I think I was born in New York and work in the city for a reason. Like I have to transcend my feeling. And I did. And even in my gratitude practice, in my gratitude, I'm still writing down every day 3 things. Most of the time it's Kramer 3 times lately. But I did write down like Long Island and New York, and I was like, I'll just trick myself into feeling gratitude. And I'm not saying it's not beautiful. Like I love that it's near the beach. It's just the energy around here. Like it's very hard to break through when it's just constantly thrown in your face and there. It's very challenging. But I guess that's what my job is this time, is to transcend it here. I guess that's like that song. Like if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Maybe this is my big test of the lifetime. And I was doing good. My point is, like, I was doing good. Like, I'm like, I have Kramer. I can be fine here. But this whole like week, I'm like, I'm just afraid I'm not going to be able to dig myself back out of that hole of like just not being happy here. But I guess that's what I have to work on.
I think you have to give yourself time too. I mean, the creamer thing is fresh.
Yeah.
Very fresh.
It's still very fresh. Just happened.
No, I know, but like that's why it's like I know it. I know, but
And
I've had this feeling before, so I feel like it's just back, and I'm like, now I have to figure out again how I'm gonna do this.
I think really accepting that this is where we're meant to be. Like, that's one thing that really helped me. Accepting that this is where I'm meant to be for now.
I have to say right now, because it's second Eric retires, I am going down to North Carolina.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, for now, at some point.
And then, but who's to say? Like, that's what I mean about the grass is green on the other side. Like, to me, like, I envision this whole other experience there, but like maybe when I moved down there, I mean, I lived there when I was in college for 4 years, and I've never lived there as an adult full time. So like, who's to say once I get down there, I'll find its faults and I'll have a whole nother
List of
obstacle.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that saying, something like, you take yourself wherever you go, something like that.
Well,
Your problems will arise again.
You just said that because you just made me remember from my Tuesday, Micheline, I've been taking an online Gita course through Bhakti Center on Tuesdays. And this week, he gave us a picture of a tortoise. And he said, like something, I forget, I'm not going to quote him verbatim because I can't remember, but he said something along the lines of like, the purpose of the shell on a tortoise, what is it? Like, what is the purpose of that shell? And obviously it's for protection, but also it's its home. So the tortoise has a home wherever it goes. And it's number 258. It's an analogy from chapter 258. Apparently there's a lot of analogies in this book. We just simply, yeah, so in the Gita, it says, one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So like the tortoise example, the tortoise analogy that this teacher told us said, like a tortoise knows when to come back into its shell, into its home, into protection, but it also knows when to extend its limbs. And I thought that was like really beautiful. So yeah, I hear you too, Domenico. Like, but I always had a plaque at home that said home is where the dog is. So now this is like what's stirring me up this week. It's like how I have to, and it's not finding happiness, it's creating happiness, which to me is more work because I gotta redo it. I gotta redo my whole creating happiness plan.
I was thinking, yeah.
What if you for a little bit just let that be?
Oh yeah.
And allow yourself space to process first.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day that like because I was thinking about Kramer. And I was thinking about how my my friend lost her dog Welly, the sweetest dog, so sweet, but she knew it was getting to the end, so before it got to the end she got a puppy, and so like she's like, yeah, I have the puppy to fill the void. And like I was thinking back, like a lot of people do that, like when the dog is getting towards the end they just get another dog so that they don't have to feel that loss.
So many people told me that, they didn't tell me to get another dog, but so many people told me stories of like, I got a puppy, my dog was really old, I got a puppy, and it made the older dog live for another year or two because it brought out the puppy and that older dog having a playmate. Kramer's always been an only child. He has only child syndrome. He likes when he has visitors in the house, but he does not want someone here full time. So
I've also seen like the puppy torture the older dog, so that's
And I was like, if Kramer was like 12 or 13, but Kramer's 18 years old. Like I cannot, it's like bringing an infant into 100-year-old.
Yeah, no,
Like,
the point I was trying to make is that you like people purposely go through lots of stuff to avoid what you're feeling right now. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
not-
no, and I thought about it too. Like, I'm like, should I start fostering a dog like to fill that hole? But I'm like, no, because if I'm filling that hole, and it's not like, so I hear what you're saying. Like, I'm allowing myself, and I thought about doing that. I thought about maybe I am already ready for another dog and just rushing over to the shelter and finding one.
no.
But I have told myself I want the freedom to be like, once I get over this, like this, I'm never gonna get over the grief, but once I get through this, like I feel very depressed this week.
It's like,
Once I get through this, I want to be able to just get on an airplane and go somewhere. So I don't want to regret having to run out and get another dog.
Yeah.
and then
I think Micheline is trying to say something, or maybe to her kids.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. My phone muted when I wasn't trying to. Anyway, no,
I did not mute you.
I was gonna say it's like when stuff happens and as adult or whatever, humans turn to alcohol or turn to drugs to numb it out, and then what? Then down the road, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years later, it just comes back in your face.
Yeah,
Because
that's what we read about yesterday. Intoxication. Yeah, and I guess it's just hard to do. I guess like what you're saying, like it's hard for me to do this in this environment, and that's what my excuse is. Like this very crazy environment, and now I'm telling myself I'm going to the city on Monday, and I'm like, part of me is like, why are you doing that to yourself? Like, are you inflicting pain on yourself on purpose, or is it like truly something that will feel healing to me to be back with my team and go see my stuff? And I don't know, but yeah.
It's,
All right.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea for you to see people as much as you can.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I thought it was going to be a nice cool day, like low 70s, but now it's already creeping up to 80, so that'll be fun in the city. But oh well.
Yeah, heat in the city is always gross.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Kohl's and buy myself a new work dress if I can find one. I need like a new back to school outfit.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some breath work and meditate together. Thank you, ladies, for chatting. Like, it was perfect timing for me to learn all this. Otherwise, I'd be a lot more of a mess getting through this. So set up nice and tall, find that straight spine. Breathe in and out through the nose, creating long breath in, deep breath out. And then we'll do a few rounds of alternate nostril breath. Right hand to your nose, close the right nostril with the thumb, inhale through the left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Few more rounds on your own breath. When you're done, you'll exhale out the left side. There's no rush. You'll join us when you're ready, but I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. If you need to drop, you'll drop. If you need to stay on longer, you'll set your own timer. Namaste.